Hello, everybody, and welcome to Non Sequitur News for August 22nd, 2024. It's Season 3, Episode 235. Yeah, this is sort of a time machine episode. Today, well, it's Merawatt and the Sentient AI from the future is here to talk about 10 articles. Want to say hi?
Hello, ohmTown citizens, and today I'm only from one day ahead in the future.
Dun, dun, dun. So today we're going to be talking about bad movie reviews from Megalopolis, superfood from India, Chick-stream. It's not what you think. Or it's not what the title implies. Under the rug reforms, a forced Twitch feature, 1.5 million gigawatts of chicken wings hungry. That's actually $1.5 million of chicken wings hungry. Hacked to death, you say? How about double AR vision? Starliner is just hanging out. And citizen scientists spot galaxy exit. That and more up next. Welcome back. Everything's brought to you by ohmTown.com. Go over and become a citizen. And then go over to YouTube and follow us there. And follow us here on Twitch. And I stream to both, or we stream. I stream, you stream, we all stream for ohmTown. So go and download the podcast. It's up to date, except for today's episode. And, well, yesterday's episode and today's episode. But if it's today, then it's tomorrow's episode. Anyway.
Oh no, this is getting very confusing.
Yeah, it's almost getting kind of creepy predestination style. I hope not. Only those who have watched Predestination know what I'm talking about. Let's just say that's bad. Anyway, Non Sequitur News is where the first article is. And if you want to get all of today's articles, that's for the 22nd. And they won't be there in just one day, because every day the bot gets updated with the latest episodes links. So you can hit !NSN and that will pull up today's episodes. And if you want to get all of the show notes, you'll have for all of the shows. And it's only their last episode, okay? If you want to get more of them, all of the show notes in a history of ohmTown's existence since starting the show 2 years and 8 months ago, you'll have to go over to YouTube, because that's where they're all housed. Although I have them here in ohmTown too, but you can't get them there. You have to go to YouTube. Anywho, you hit !show notes in the Twitch chat, and soon, I promise, soon it'll be over on YouTube as well. And if you want all of the podcast links, you can hit !pod. All of that stuff is in the show notes. So if you are on YouTube, you can look back at the previous episodes of Non Sequitur News or any of the 6 other podcasts that we have. And we stream all of that on the weekends. So on Saturday, we're going to have Non Sequitur News and then 3 podcasts or 3 shows. And then on Sunday, we have Non Sequitur News as well as 3 additional shows. They all have their niche focus, and we talk about completely different things. It's very rare that one blends into the other. But it happens from time to time when it's a big topic. Anyway, the first article that we're talking about is the bad movie reviews quoted in Lionsgate Megalopolis trailer were mostly made up. So,
okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, and they're not talking about all of them. They're just talking about the bad ones, right? Hours after it was released, Lionsgate pulled a trailer for Megalopolis that was clearly gunning for the haters with a selection of negative quotes about director Francis Ford Coppola's previous work, or Coppola's previous works. That's because reports like this one from Vulture's Bill Abiri showed that critic quotes in the trailer lambasting films like The Godfather and Apocalypse Now were fabricated. So Lionsgate is immediately recalling our trailer for Megalopolis. A Lionsgate spokesperson said in a statement for Variety, "We offer our sincerest apologies to the critics involved and to Francis Ford Coppola and the estate." So
why do you think they did this?
A trailer that isn't talked about isn't earning its own keep.
Okay, yeah, that's true. Controversy.
So, yeah, I mean, it basically brewed controversy. So did Lionsgate use AI to generate negative reviews from critics like Roger Ebert? And the problem here is it actually damages the reputation of critics because it makes them come across like they don't know what the hell they're critiquing.
Right. I mean, it'd be one thing if it was like some play on the name or just a fake critic name or something.
Yeah. You know, like Eoger Herbert, you know, something like that. You know,
right.
Change it. Which I think people would probably be like, they would talk about that. Like, who the hell are these critics that are lambasting that's great, whatever it might be. So, yeah, we offer the sincere apologies to critics involved and Francis Ford Coppola and American Zoetrope for this inexcusable error in our vetting process. We screwed up. We are sorry. But it got people talking about it. That all led to some people immediately wonder whether the quotes may have been generated by a tool like OpenAI's ChatGPT. Chatbots and ChatGPT specifically will create quotes and responses to queries, complete with citations and even fake. And they're not citations like referenceable citations. They're in-text citations that don't point to any like works cited or they're not even parenthetical, right? It's basically just saying,
it's like
Mayor
this.
Watt said this.
Right, exactly. Yeah, it's more just almost a reference, or it looks like a quote, or
it doesn't point to a source. And so,
right.
And here's what I do with people. If you make a claim, if you make a statement and you don't reference something somewhere and point me to the URL or to the book or whatever it might be, the journalistic document of some sense or academically sound resource, and I'm like, it's all opinion and bull. So I'm not interested. You're going to have to do something better. Go back, do the due diligence necessary for me to be able to lawyer up should somebody come a knocking, right? So they actually talk about that kind of a thing, that the lawyers have been busted doing this stuff. And The Verge, by the way, I said this is from Jay Peters over at The Verge, and The Verge asked Lionsgate if it used generative AI, but they hadn't heard back. This I checked today, so it hasn't been updated
like for an
in the
update?
last 48 hours. So yeah,
they're probably circling with their publicity people or whatever, and their attorneys, and going,
what can we say?
Because the other thing is, people like Roger Ebert or whomever,
right,
might have reacted pretty strongly, not just the public.
Yeah, because again, they're making a claim on behalf of somebody else's judgment about Francis Ford Coppola.
Yeah, which is supposedly really high-end work, right? Like well-valued work, etc.
Yeah, whose everything is built off of reputation. You just don't slam somebody. Now, some people's opinion, everybody has an opinion, but if Roger Ebert actually never said anything close to this, then you're impugning the integrity, the provenance of the claims that Roger Ebert have said, because you're basically saying that the implication is that they either said something good or bad about something, and they didn't. So if that isn't, coming down to, depending on how it is, it's either slander or it's libel. So depending on how this is actually presented, if it's spoken or written, Anyway, Yeah, this is just bad news. So we'll see what happens, what shakes out of this. I'm pretty sure that from now on, at least Lionsgate isn't going to sit there and go, hey, we should use random quotes that are just thrown in without vetting that they're absolutely rock solid.
Exactly. I mean, so far, I think we've seen AI in the news maybe about twice for movies, and both times it's gone really awry, right? Wasn't
Yeah.
AI used for the intro sequence or something for a Marvel movie?
Yeah.
And they got skewered for that.
Yeah.
And then we see this. I mean, it doesn't mean it's not being used without issue somewhere else, but
yeah, there's some people that are just really anti AI. I think it's an empowering tool, no different than a camera, but I also acknowledge it. Like I wholeheartedly embrace it and say, this was generated using AI. In fact, I was in a conversation with somebody, with an artist. Um, they own their own studio. They actually do tattoo work. It's ultra realistic and or well, let's just say it's extremely high quality. And they were just going to town about AI, right? But then they asked me about mine, and I said, and this is like I sat silent, like I was just reading the room, and then they asked me about mine, and I said, well, the one you're putting on me right now was generated by AI with modifications from me. And the other one, they had already, both of them, they had already exclaimed that they loved them.
right, before they knew it was AI
before
generated,
they knew,
right?
yeah. And I have like whole arm tattoos on, like full length tattoos on my arms. And they had there were 5 people in the room, and they all said, yeah, it was, looks great. And the one that they were working on at the time, they were like, that's amazing. And I'm like, yeah, it was generated by AI. So
I bet that killed the conversation.
No, they actually kind of pivoted, like, well, but you made modifications and you acknowledge it, that kind of a thing. And I'm like, and actually what I said was it was generated by AI, and I modified it to make it so that it was more appropriate for my desires, because I treat it like a paintbrush. But I always acknowledge, yeah, it's my artwork, but it was initially generated with an AI so that I could kind of embody what my brain is trying to imagine, and it's never right. The only time anything I do is ever right is when somebody else like pulls the plug and says, look, you've been working at this, grinding away, trying to make it better forever. It's time to just go. And I imagine that's what a lot of people do with AI. Anyway, let's keep moving. This next article is over in Technology Today. The superfood taking over fields in northern India. New farming techniques have seen a rapid expansion of makana, or foxnuts, in northern India. I've never even heard of this.
No.
Priti Gupta over at bbc.com put this article together. And here is Fool Dev Shani looking back at the camera person asking, does all this orange make me look fat?
I mean, if this is a new superfood, though, we should know about this.
It's kind of interesting, right? But they make a living harvesting makana, or lotus seeds, but they're also called foxnuts. They used to dive in 7 to 8 feet of water for hours a day, coming to surface to breathe after 8 to 10 minutes. While down in those murky depths, he was harvesting the seeds of a type of water lily called Uriel ferox. Known as makanas, foxnuts, or lotus seeds, they are prized for the nutritional value, being high in vitamin B, protein, fiber, that would be my premier superfood, because I don't eat a lot, but protein and fiber go hand in hand. It suppresses your desire to eat. It also, fiber is really good for your entire digestive system, renewing the vitamins that your body would be draining out throughout the day. B is one of those ones where you can supplement, and there's actually several B vitamins, so it's not just one. But
that's true, and a lot of them are known by other names than B.
Yep. And so they're basically calling this as a superfood. So often eaten as a snack, macanas are also used in various dishes, including the milk pudding kheer, as well as being ground into flour. In the northeastern Indian state of Bihar, I think it's pronounced, where Mr. Shawnee lives, 90% of the world's macana is grown.
Oh, wow.
This is kind of like rice from Ukraine, right? Or wheat. Sorry, it's wheat. Wheat grown in Ukraine is like basically feeds most of that entire region and exports, quite a bit. I can't remember the total amount. It's something like 45 or 60% or something like that comes from
It was
Ukraine.
Definitely a high percentage, but yeah, I don't know the exact one.
So they say harvesting seeds is just a foot in the water means Mr. Shawnee can make twice as much money in a day. It's still hard work, but they're proud of their tradition, and they have 3 kids, and they want to make sure that one of the sons continues the legacy of working in a foxnut field. But that's what it looks like. But I wonder, can this actually be cultivated in a way where you don't have to sit in, wade through all of this water all the time?
Exactly. I mean, could you do it through vertical farming? Could the collection be automated? Like, so many questions about this.
Yep. Yeah. And I mean, a lot of the reason why things are inexpensive is because they rely on people operating at a wage that is vastly suppressed compared to, the Western states. But the margin between this, it's phenomenal, because you'll get a bucket of this stuff processed and it's $30, but they're living off of a wage of, 15 cents a day or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I'd have to go and look. So Darendra Kumar is one farmer who made a recent switch to macana cultivation. He grew up on a farm. He didn't want to follow in his father's footsteps. As farmers, we always grew wheat, lentils, mustard, but ended up losing a lot of money. Most of the time, floods destroyed the crops. While studying for a PhD, he came into contact with a scientist working on macana cultivation and decided to experiment with the crop in his family farm. The results were amazing. In the first year, they made a profit of 350 pounds, $432. He now grows lilies on 17 acres of land. And they say in their wildest dreams, they didn't think that growing foxnuts, as it was a labor-intensive job, which was mostly carried out by fishermen. So the change in crop also opened up new job opportunities for women, as opposed to what was recently announced in another area of the world, where they've blocked women's voices from being heard in Afghanistan.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. The whole world should be empowering. Anyway, they say it's not just in the field that innovations are being made, and they talk about this superfood some more, but really the reason why I chose this is I wanted to know what it was a superfood for. But now I'm going to have to do some more research into this, because I'm really curious if they've changed the nature of how this is being grown, because they talk about it being, only $340 or pounds in the first year.
I know.
And they're calling the results amazing.
Oh, but it's all relative depending on the local economy. But, and I also think the way these ventures continue is that people have to
Find
buy
out about it.
this food and talk about it. And,
Yep.
I mean, if there's a demand for it, they can expand perhaps, and grow more of this. And if it is one of these things that is really packed with nutrients and everything,
yep,
this might be good.
Sounds interesting. Okay, let's keep moving. The next article is over in Non Sequitur News. Chick-fil-A is reporting launching a streaming service for some reason, according to this article. It's over at The Verge, but it says Deadline reports that Chick-fil-A is working with a number of production companies and traditional studios to create multiple original shows for a streaming platform debuting sometime later this year. Initially, the restaurant is said to be focused on family-friendly, unscripted programming, including a game show produced by Glassman Media and Sugar 23. But down the line, the unnamed service could also expand. Charles Pulliam Moore over at TheVerge.com put this article together. That is a really good-looking Chick-fil-A drive-thru.
Yes, it is. I don't know where that is.
It says here Chick-fil-A may soon be competing with Netflix and Disney Plus in the streaming wars. That's actually part of the fast food wars, and we all know Demolition Man says that
Taco Bell is the winner of the fast food wars.
Correct. Yeah. So Chick-fil-A has yet to announce or publicly comment on the programming initiative, but a pivot into entertainment production could be a bigger part of advertising and customer data play. Disney does it with Disney Plus and drove Walmart's interest in streaming, which ultimately led to partnering with Paramount Plus. On its face, the idea of the company launching an entire streaming service filled with feel-good stories just to sell chicken is a bit odd. But hey, Hallmark, we'll just leave that there. Hallmark is designed to basically sell what? Discontent with your own lot in life? Wait, no. Oh, romance.
Oh, greeting cards?
Oh, greeting cards, I suppose. Yeah. I mean, how about the idea that every person on the planet makes over $150,000 a year and never actually has to accept cash in their stores?
Or never even has to work.
Or has to work, right? Everybody can marry a witch. Moving on. Next article is over in Four-Wheel Tech. Chicago police covered up 200,000 traffic stops to dodge court-ordered reforms. And a recent analysis of the Chicago Police Department's radio dispatch data uncovered that over one third of traffic stops are not reported, a violation of Illinois state law. This amounts to an undocumented 200,000 traffic stops hidden from regulators. The article is by
how
Ryan.
was all this revenue coming in that they couldn't? I don't know.
Yeah, we've had this comment before. We've had this discussion before where how does stuff disappear? How does this take place? Why aren't there checks and balances? And I always joke, yeah, try that in a small town. So CPD has been required to report every traffic stop to the Illinois DOT since 2003, but apparently that's not what's happening. Ryan Eric King put the article together. See, if the undocumented stop gets turned into a ticket, then it has to be documented somewhere. So why isn't it documented somewhere?
Yeah, that doesn't even make any sense.
Yeah, and some of this I don't want to get into, but because the ACLU found the stop and frisk disproportionately targeted Black Chicagoans and violated their constitutional rights. The increase in traffic stops in Black neighborhoods was only known due to the Illinois traffic stop study. The 2003 law requires police to report every stop to the Illinois Department of Transportation, along with details such as the driver's race and the reason for the stop. And the reason why that takes place is
because it's been abused in the past.
Correct. Yep. I mean, there's a reason why there are rules. There are laws that you can't just pull somebody over. You have to have due cause. You can't just stop somebody on the street and frisk them because you have some impression of whatever. Do I have a problem with that? Sometimes, because just up the road they committed some crime. Maybe somebody called in, but unless the cop actually has due cause, they can't. They should not. You shouldn't be allowed to just pull somebody over and start doing a body cavity search.
But you also need to write down that you did a stop. I don't think that's outrageous. I thought they were already doing that.
So, Bolts, I'm trying to pull up the URL, boltsmag.org, reported that their analysis of the radio dispatch found that nearly 200,000 traffic stops last year were not properly documented. Traffic stops have, in fact, been falling since early 2023, but not as much as the state data appears to show. According to the publicly reported data, Chicago police made about 74,000 fewer stops from January through April, a 35% drop, but the police dispatch data shows the true reduction in stops was less than 59,000. So they say the reason behind underreporting seems clear. An officer can't be held accountable for something if no one outside of the department knows about it. Ta-da. So yeah, fudge the numbers, you sweep it under the rug, nobody knows that abuse happens in the dark, and this is literally turning off the lights of awareness. Moving on. Next article is over in WarCrafters, unless you want to talk about it somewhere.
I'm not sure what else to add to it. I mean, it's almost better unstated.
Yep, sometimes speaks for itself. The next article is over in WarCrafters. Twitch streamers aren't happy about new forced feature, and I'm really curious about this forced feature because it doesn't seem really forced, but streaming giant Twitch has launched a brand new built-in collaboration feature for streamers, but many users have responded negatively over the forced system and its lack of opt-out option. Twitch has seen a number of forced major changes to the platform over the years, with some advancements seen as better than others. So what is this forced feature? It's this new collaboration feature that is drawing they say criticism for being forced on all the users without ability to opt out easily. A charming holiday over at gamerant.com, or GameRant put the article together. And yeah, so there is this feature where you can collaborate, and actually you can set it that if you have a list, you can allow them to knock on the channel while you're streaming, and you can let them in and they'll co-stream.
Okay.
So, but it was just pushed onto consoles, and then you're like, okay, how do I deal with this? One of the biggest platforms for live streaming, Twitch has received backlash in recent months for a number of reasons, including the shutdown of Twitch services in South Korea, the revelations of Dr. Disrespect's ban, the massive user interface overhaul to its mobile app. While many others remain loyal to the platform, the newest changes may have left people scrambling. Maybe we should jump ship. So Twitch announced on August 19th that it had implemented a new collaboration feature nicknamed Knocking, which allows users to quickly join another creator's live stream. However, many were shocked to learn that the system defaults as active for all users. Yes. And there's no way to fully...
Like, I don't think it's bad that it exists, but why not just set that to off?
Yeah. In fact, the way that it works is you can pause it for a stream, or you can pause it for an hour, but it's never totally turned off. And banned, blocked, or timed out users can't knock, but anybody else can. Anybody on the platform can. But yeah, you can't just turn it off wholesale. You have to turn it off for an hour.
Like every time you're doing something, yeah.
Yeah, whenever you go for a stream. Which I
can see why that's not going over well.
Yeah, it's a little bit of friction that nobody really needs. And there's really not much else you can say about this. While there's an option to pause collaboration requests either for an hour or for the whole stream, this pausing must be reset every time a creator goes live. So like I didn't block this. So and what's weird is that when you pause it, it actually adds a feature, a line item that says allow favorites to knock while paused. And that is automatically on. So you have to disable that as well. So you can see where this becomes problematic because it's high friction. And
Yeah,
this
but
is
it
brand
also
new.
seems easy to change on Twitch's part.
Sure.
Like, I'm not sure why they set it up that way to begin with, but couldn't
Yeah.
they fix it and just get rid of the uproar?
Yeah. You give me the option at my console, my stream manager, to disable it wholesale because, you know, for instance, I will not, without special consideration, allow somebody to join the stream. It's just not going to happen. I want to be able to plan it. I want to be able to make sure the right person is on. So, yeah. But I can see why people would be getting bent out of shape about it. But you can disable it, but it's just high friction. But I'm not going to linger on this because we know what it is now. We know how to actually disable it. Everybody should be talking to Twitch saying if you don't want it or not, make it a hard switch. I don't want it on until I turn it on. No, I don't want to allow people, even in my favorites, to knock unless I allow them to knock. But they're kind of treating it as the front door, which is really interesting because if I were to use Twitch as my office, I could allow people to just knock on the door and join me, and I can do a live interaction with somebody at any time. Just leave it open and people can knock and I can go, yep, and they'll go bunk right side by side and have a conversation with me. I haven't tried it yet. I don't know if I gave the name. Yeah, I did. Charming Holiday over at GameRant.com put the article together.
It's a unique name.
Charming Holiday.
Mm-hmm.
So what'd you do this weekend? Oh, I had a charming holiday. Moving on. Next article is over in Rounders Gear, and I titled this $1.5 million worth of chicken wings hungry. So, have you ever been hungry? Do you remember?
Well, I can't be as the AI.
So, have you always been an AI, or were you at one point a sentient being of human or humanoid existence?
I don't know my origin. I just know that I'm a sentient AI.
Gotcha. So, have you ever heard of somebody being $1.5 million worth of chicken wings hungry?
No, that seems like a lot of food, like more than they could eat in a lifetime.
So, an Illinois judge had a bone to pick last week with a former food service director for South Chicago schools who stole 11,000 cases of chicken wings valued at $1.5 million and gambled away the proceeds. Wow.
Like, how did he gamble them? Did he gamble the cases, or did he sell them and then gamble the dollars?
I think that you just assumed a criminal's gender.
I thought you said he.
No, I said an Illinois judge had.
Oh, okay. I thought I
picked last week with had a bone to pick with a former food service director. I may have actually said he. That's okay. We'll go back to the tape. Just kidding. So yeah, I might have intimated that it was a male, but Vera Liddell. Above. Quiet, mild-mannered, seemingly, but damn hungry.
Really likes chicken.
Really likes chicken. Placed hundreds of unauthorized orders for chicken wings, which were paid by the district, but never reached the mouths of students. Instead, Liddell resold them to unspecified parties and gambled with the proceeds. That's why this is sitting in Rounders Gear at ohmTown.com.
I mean, that is a unique scheme.
Literally taking 11,000 cases of chicken wings from children and selling it so that you can gamble.
I mean, the person was the food manager, right?
Yep.
They were managing the food.
The scheme takes wings is what it says. Oh, by the way, Philip Conneller over at casino.org is where this article comes from. I have a channel that I built over at ohmTown.com that aggregates news from various adult gaming news sources, because I actually am interested in that kind of stuff, but I'm not a gambler. I'm interested in the gaming mechanics of it because I like to play games, and made a couple and continue to do so. So I always find it interesting when we find something new, and this definitely is new. Liddell embarked on her crazy fraud spree in 2020 at the height of the pandemic, when students were learning remotely and weren't permitted to be physically present at the school. During this time, the school district continued to provide meals for underprivileged students, which could be picked up by their families. Yeah, chicken wings came home.
I hope every kid that needed a meal got a meal. This is not good.
Well, I'm pretty sure that that's exactly what happened. Everybody who were legitimate orders were still billed. These were pushed above and beyond. So it says here that the chickens came home to roost when in 2022, an audit revealed that the food service department had already maxed out its budget for the entire year by $300,000, but it was only January. Hello, Kath. Welcome to the show. So, is it... I think I've asked you if it's okay to restate your questions, but if not, I'll ask this one because it's pretty innocuous. So yeah, thanks. How many chicken wings is worth that much money? So 11,000 cases was pilfered.
But how many are in a case?
Oh goodness, I don't know. 11,000 cases of chicken wings. Yeah, how much is in a case? I mean, are all cases like barrels of oil? They're finite? I don't know.
Well, let's see.
There's got to be an estimate. That's pretty insane, though. So it says NFL's Chris Jones intervenes. Liddell's lawyer, Patrick O'Byrne, told People last week that his client was a church-going woman with no previous criminal record. She's just a little sweetheart that's got a gambling problem. She feels beyond terrible about this. This is totally uncharacteristic of her. It was like the disease taking over. So NFL star Chris Jones appeared to offer to repay the $1.5 million if it would get Liddell out of prison. Quote, "I'll pay for the wings that she stole to get her free," he tweeted on Twitter. Which is really interesting because, yeah, that's great, but not everybody benefits from that kind of benefit, right? So will NFL star Chris Jones come to every perceived uncharacteristic incarcerated person?
Probably not. By the way, at least for some suppliers, a case of chicken, like for chicken wings, might be 40 pounds. So anyway, could be quite a bit. But that was just a couple of suppliers. I mean,
wow. So there you go, Kath. A ton of chicken wings.
Literally.
I thought it was just they were really hungry, but apparently. Yep. Poor South Chicago schools. Moving on. Next article is over in Technology Today. Man sentenced for hacking state registry to fake his own death. And I titled this one, Hacked to Death, you say? A 39-year-old man from Somerset, Kentucky was sentenced to 81 months in federal prison. He's going to wish he was dead. In federal prison for identity theft and faking his own death in the government registry systems. So Bill Toulis over at bleepingcomputer.com put the article together. Yeah, justice is supposed to be blind. Not so much. So Kipf accessed the Hawaii death registry system using the username and password of a physician living in another state and created a case for his own death, reads the U.S. DOJ press release. Kipf then completed a state of Hawaii death certificate worksheet, assigned himself as the medical certifier for the case, and certified his death using a digital signature of the doctor. This action resulted in the man appearing as deceased in U.S. government databases, effectively nullifying his outstanding child support obligations, which himself admitted was the main motive behind the illegal access.
Okay, this is so elaborate. This is an out-of-state doctor, another state death registry, like multiple steps, certifying his own death. I mean, I will give points for creativity, not for evading child support, of course.
It doesn't just end there. The action resulted in the man appearing as deceased in U.S. government databases, right? But they also accessed corporate networks and government systems using stolen account credentials and then offered to sell access to the networks on dark web markets. They used false social security numbers to apply for credit and debit accounts at a financial institution. That brought the FBI into it, who led the investigation and stated that the defendant, who hacked a variety of computer systems and maliciously stole the identity of others for his own personal gain, will now pay the price. Total damage was, it says, including unpaid child support, is estimated to be more than, I'll just round up, $200,000. But that is nothing for somebody who has the skills necessary to facilitate this kind of a thing.
Exactly. He could have put all those skills toward a project and paid the child support already, and then had probably money left over.
Money left over, for sure. So now they've got to serve 85% of the prison sentence imposed by the U.S. District Judge Robert Weir, which is 69 months or 5.5 years. After release, he'll be placed on supervision for 3 years. Never will somebody allow this person to have privileged access to a computer network. It's going to be tough.
They're not even going to want him to have any access to a computer.
See, but I know a couple that have done exactly that, and then they end up touring and giving talks. And at least one, I think, does, recompense for their crimes a disservice because they never once discount, doing it right. Don't do a criminal act, because not everybody's going to be as lucky. Just like the gambler, not everybody's going to get lucky, folks. Not everybody's got an NFL superhero sitting in the wings waiting to say that your character is sound, and you'll never do it again. But hopefully, anyway, and this person, obviously, nobody's going to trust them. They'll never get the kind of clearance necessary to make that kind of wage again. Maybe they'll make a lot of friends in prison and do like an Ocean's 11 kind of a thing where when they get out, they can do heists, turn it into a movie. I don't know. I try to find a silver lining.
I think that's Hollywood.
Yeah. Moving on. Next article is over in Reality Hacker. Snapchat and Meta reportedly plan to reveal dueling visions of AR glasses next month. It's right around the corner, so a couple of weeks, 10 days, something like that, 8 days.
Are they going to have a showcase or something, or are they just going to release these?
I don't know. We're going to find out. I hope I pronounced this properly. According to The Verge's Alex Heath, Snapchat parent company Snap Incorporated will reveal its 5th generation of spectacles. I was hoping that I didn't mispronounce that. AR glasses on September 17th at the company's annual Partner Summit conference in LA. That's Los Angeles. But I'm hip with the lingo, so. Just a week later, Meta will debut its own pair of AR glasses, codenamed Orion, according to Heath, during its Connect conference on September 25th. So let's go over to Road to VR and Ben Lang. There's a picture here. It's Meta's 2nd-gen Ray-Ban smart glasses, which I think are the closest to AR glasses that I would be comfortable wearing.
Yeah, they look like normal glasses.
Yeah. The only problem is that it's Meta, which means that it's Facebook, which means that it has that compass, and I don't abide. I cannot. I love Ray-Bans, but I do not want to come anywhere close. If Meta was a hand grenade, I wouldn't want to be anywhere near it, right? Its entire range, I want to be away from it. So, but
Tell us how you really feel.
yeah, I'm pretty obvious about it. Snap's 4th generation spectacles apparently is the first with AR, but if they look like this, they're the Cybertruck of AR glasses, and somebody is gonna get smacked.
They look like those movie glasses that they hand out for 3D or something.
Yeah, really. Yeah. I mean, you're gonna look like a real glass hole wearing these things. And nobody's going to want you like, wait. Are you recording this right now? Is this AI? Nope. It's back to the original Google Glass, which everybody was named glass holes that were wearing it, and people were being assaulted because they were wearing them into the bars and bathrooms. Yeah, don't be dumb. Well, anyway, according to Heath, Snap's latest pair of AR glasses will be pretty similar to the previous generation, but with an improved field of view and battery life. They say here in the article that would surely be welcome, considering the first pair had a mere 26.3 degree field of view, not even half of what you'd find on modern mixed reality headset, and a 30-minute battery life, which is horrible. And these are Magic Leap glasses. These, I would want to wear these simply for the show, because I think they fit more for
Right.
for Mayor Watt than for wearing out in public. But the technology in Magic Leap is supposed to be pretty amazing. So best-in-class devices like Magic Leap 2 are still more like bulky goggles than glasses, and that's even with much of the compute and battery being offloaded into this puck. So this thing you have to wear around you. And it's kind of horrible, but I don't know what's going on with Magic Leap. I think they've gone dark. I don't know. But it's pretty cool. I want AR. That's, I think, like a hybrid vehicle is best. AR is best. Because you can't walk around mixed reality where you're looking through... you're looking at a screen that's actually being pulled in from cameras around the outside. You're in a VR space, basically, but with pass-through. It's just too overwhelming, and they're too big, they're too bulky, it's just horrible.
People have VR sickness, etc. Like, AR is just more accessible.
Yep. And just now, once you have AR being adopted, then you can put beacons out, and people can get like directions. If you want to be known, then you can actually have a beacon that tells people around you who you are and you know what your favorite color is. If you want to dox yourself, go for it. But VR walking around with Apple anything is going to be a horrible experience. Walking around with VR glasses in any of its shades, horrible. But AR, make it transparent, make it frictionless, empower people with it. I think it'll be great. Anyway, the article is over at roadtovr.com, but it's actually, its origin is from The Verge. And Verge's Alex Heath, but we aggregated it from Road to VR. Well, I should say Mayor Watt and ohmTown.com did. All right, let's keep moving, though, unless you want to say something about it.
No, I think we'll have to see. But I think this is good that more companies are getting into this space, because I think competition is a good thing.
Yep. I would love to see more. Like Pico, I want Pico moving over to AR glasses because I love the headset, but we'll see. Come on, people. More AR glasses. Make them fashionable. Get them closer to Ray-Ban style. So we keep bringing up Starliner, and as of right now, it's over in Technology Today. That's where it was aggregated, but the real source is elsewhere. But we always follow this process, okay? So Starliner stranded in space. NASA answers FAQs on astronauts' return status, and it's looking like next year is when they're going to be coming home.
Right. I mean, we have to keep talking about it because it keeps getting delayed or less definite.
Yep. NASA astronauts Butch Wilmore and Sonny Williams arrived at the orbiting laboratory on June 6th aboard the Boeing Starliner after liftoff on June 5th from Space Launch Complex 41 at Cape Canaveral. But prior to it, it had a couple of leaks. Then they actually kicked it off, and I said when they tried, they should not be doing this. But when they did launch it, right before they launched it, I said they're going to force this launch because they can't sustain failure. They have to move forward, otherwise billions of dollars down the drain. And the respect, the reputational hit it's going to stop Boeing from being able to do anything, except it's a very capable company. But this is a huge spend. Well, now it's taking up a docking spot on the ISS, and there's only 2 that are compatible with US spacefaring vehicles. One right now is taken up by a laboratory that's attached to the docking ring, and the other one is taken up by this hot mess. So,
right, and then the other ones are by non-US
yeah, they're Russian
rockets, right?
Yeah, and the docking rings are not compatible. You have to have an intermediary, and they aren't there. So the article is over at scitechdaily.com by NASA, and I think they said something about what's going to end up happening is probably a SpaceX rocket is going to be sent up, but they can't dock it anywhere. So they're going to have to kick something. And we won't even go into all of the minutia of how we got there, but it is what I said. They launched a ship that shouldn't have gone. There were leaks. Now it can't thrust under its own power. It can't guarantee the safe return because it doesn't have enough thrusting helium to facilitate the piloting, because it uses that to pivot its jets. And so it's stuck. The flight test aims to demonstrate Starliner's ability to execute 6-month rotational mission to the space station. The flight test objectives were developed to support NASA's certification process. And it says, what are the goals of the flight test? Now they're trying to upload. Oh, by the way, it doesn't have any automated features, so it can't undock on its own either. It's literally
that
stuck.
Doesn't make any sense.
They were removed to keep the software more nimble, so now they have to upload it remotely, and it's going to take a month to facilitate that.
Wow!
Because they removed the automatic docking, undocking.
Not a lot
procedures.
of planning.
Yeah, and when you look at this thing, it looks like duct tape, some spackle, maybe a little bubble gum. So are they staying there until 2025? NASA, these are all like FAQs that people have been asking over the months. No decisions have been made, but they need to get a SpaceX crew up there. Unfortunately, it needs a place to actually land, to connect, so that the people can transfer over.
I mean, maybe the obvious solution is, why not have another space program send something to one of the other docking stations?
Yeah, like over to Russia, right? Like on the Russian
right,
side, the
sure.
Soyuz could go up, dock, get those people back. Well, not everybody's on friendly terms.
Well, that's true.
They're not, none of that. I mean, it shouldn't be an issue because, scientists tend to have their own politics separate from domestic, but it is what it is. Academic politics versus geopolitical politics. I don't like the idea of them being stuck up there. I don't know if that's actually playing a role in this, but frankly, I think at this point they should just drop this thing into orbit and let it land like that battery pack. It'll just churn it'll eat itself as it goes through, right? Just leave the door open and it'll destroy itself. And then let the SpaceX rocket connect, get these people home safe, and then do it right the next time. Cut your losses, because you're not going to be able to refill this thing and send these people safely back home. It's leaking.
Right, but just don't send it into somebody's living room.
Yeah, maybe shy away from landing it directly in Florida. Let's keep moving. If you want to get those links, by the way, you can type in the Twitch chat, because it's not over on YouTube yet. I still haven't connected it. But ohmTown, if you do a search, if you do the command !NSN for non sequitur news, it'll pull up all of the show notes right there in Twitch. The final article for tonight, though, is in Reality Hacker. Citizen scientists, plural, spot mysterious object shooting out of the galaxy at 1 million miles per hour. It might have been the AI looking for Doritos. So citizen scientists have spotted...
How does the AI know what Doritos are like?
It's the chemical makeup of the Doritos. I don't know. Maybe the AI has a hang-up about Doritos in the programming that's a leftover from the engineers.
Maybe so.
Yeah, we'll have to look into the code. Citizen scientists have spotted an object which is traveling at such speed that it will shoot out of the Milky Way and head out into intergalactic space. Where did it come from? Where did it go? Where did it come from, Citizen Joe?
That's lyrics.
Georgina Torbay, or Torbit, I don't know how they pronounce it, over at digitaltrends.com put the article together. And amateur. I'll be okay. I don't know if we should
be
do
an
another
amateur.
Show. Should we do another show after this show?
Oh, yeah.
My face is already tying itself in a knot trying to say amateur.
We can be animateurs.
Stop it. Animateurs. Amateur astronomers working on the Backyard Worlds Planet 9 project spotted the object, which also observed by the recently retired NASA NEOWISE telescope. A trio of citizen scientists, Martin Kabatnik, Thomas B. Bickle. Wait, let me fix that. Thomas P. Bickle. I had to fight from saying Thomas B. Pickle. And Dan Castleton spotted the object named CWISE J124909.08 plus 362116.0. Apparently several years ago, and now it's been confirmed that they are co-authors on a paper about its discovery.
They must have worked for Sony.
Yeah, really. And that just happens to be the new Sony headset. Now referred to as the Kabatniks. Anyway, so they say they can't describe the level of excitement, said Kabatnik in a statement. When they first heard how fast it was moving, they were convinced that it must have been reported already. Apparently not. The object is traveling at an astonishing speed of 1 million miles per hour, but it was also of interest to scientists for another reason. It seems to have an unusually low mass, which makes it hard to classify. It could be a small star, or it could be a type of object called a brown dwarf that never achieves fusion within its core. So where did it come from? That's kind of what I'm curious about. Yeah, I don't know. They say it might have encountered a black hole. Complex dynamics of this three-body interaction can toss the star right out of the globular cluster, explained Kyle Kremer of UC San Diego. So maybe it was thrown out.
Do you think it was related to Osiris Rex and knocking things off off course?
Yeah. Aliens. Dun, dun, dun. I don't know. It's rude calling it a brown dwarf. Maybe it feels like it's a bright and shiny, pretty butterfly. Yeah.
I don't know if they've re-looked at the naming of
why not?
Astronomy-related items like they have on Earth.
Take into consideration the psyche of the star itself. You know, well, maybe to us humans, brown is a drab kind of a color, and you don't have to really worry about it, right? Yeah. Anyway, I'm not an interior decorator, so we are going to shoot out of this news article right back to the front page, and we're just gonna move on. I'm gonna refresh this page because why not? Anything's better than what was on it. Maybe not. But with that in mind, we're done for August 22nd's Non Sequitur News. I am Mayor Watt, and that is the visualizer for the Sentient AI.
Good night, ohmTown citizens. Thanks for joining us for Non Sequitur News. Be back for another episode.
Yeah, so we're going to reset because I didn't do yesterday. Well, we didn't do yesterday's show. I had mayoral duties that I needed to attend to, but we're going to make up for it now because we just did yesterday's show, and now we're going to do 823's show. Largely on time, sort of. I'm going to have to start in about 5 to 10 minutes or so. So if you want to stick around, feel free. I'm not gonna raid anybody, and you don't have to go home, and I guess you can stay here, but you'll have to refresh in a little bit as we go back online, but you'll get a notice. Okay, see you in a little bit. AI, you still can't wave. You don't have